You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
The woman accusing Jay-Z of sexually assaulting her more than 20 years ago when she was 13 is speaking out, and she admits there are inconsistencies in her story.
She's looking for money and fame, releasing a new statement overnight, calling for the claim to be actually...
In a dramatic development, the lady who recently accused Diddy Combs and Jay-Z Carter of wrongdoing filed lawsuits against the two music moguls.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet. But it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to...
The accuser, whose identity is being kept secret, filed a civil lawsuit alleging that Diddy and Jay-Z mistreated her at an after-party after the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. She said that she had driven from Rochester to New York City, watched a jumbotron outside the venue, and then went with a limousine driver to a party at a big White House with a U-shaped driveway, where the alleged misconduct took place.
Review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities.
You weren't scared to be all alone?
No, with having autism is like feeling like you live your life in a shatterproof juggle ball. The world's on fire. The fire is inside the ball with you, but there's no way for you to get out.
In addition to having autism, the woman says she suffered a head injury.
Furthermore, the accused father, who she said had driven 5 hours to pick her up from New York City following the incident, does not remember making the trip. Additionally, permits and photos taken that evening show that there was no jumbotron outside the BMAs, which refutes her claim that she watched the event from outside the venue.
Musician Benji Madden and his brother Joel at the after party. Benji is married to actress Cameron Diaz.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background, so it was just something to talk about.
But in a statement, the Madden brothers say they did not attend the 2000 VMAs. Inside Edition found this document establishing that on September 7th, 2000, the night of the VMAs, the Maddens were giving a concert at the Vic Theater in Chicago.
Jay-Z's lawyer has been outspoken in opposing the veracity of the accusations. He highlighted the absence of supporting evidence and used the aforementioned contradictions to classify the accuser's story as probably manifestly false. This story is not only a lie and not true, it's provably and demonstrably false that this never happened, Spiro said.
The woman also claims after the alleged assault, she ran to a gas station and called her father, who drove 5 hours from Rochester, New York, to pick her up and return home. But NBC says when they contacted her father, he says he can't recall the incident. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind. The woman filing the lawsuit against Jay-Z says it is possible that her father doesn't remember.
One of the things that stood out to me, Phil, was her father. Her father was also contacted by the news media because in her interview, she says her dad picked her up from Sean Diddy Combs' home after the rape, she said, that occurred after, she said, Jay-Z and Sean Combs raped her. Her dad said he had no recollection of this incident, and clearly a dad, as he said, would remember something this serious, this egregious. So I think there are some serious questions that need to be answered, and the way you get those questions answered when you are a defendant in a lawsuit is by filing the kind of motion that I anticipate we'll see filed by Jay-Z's law firm, because there are questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Jay-Z has good reason to request that this case be dismissed because the accuser came out and did an interview. We didn't seek her face or know her name, but she made some statements during the interview that weren't consistent with the claims, or I should say, accusations made in her lawsuit, which raises serious concerns about the accuser's credibility. In addition to expressing concern about the harm to his reputation, Jay-Z has strongly refuted the accusations, calling it a blackmail effort. He also underlined his support for actual victims of misconduct, saying, "My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world."
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about that tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Jay-Z has good reason to ask for this case to be dismissed. The accuser came out and did an interview. Now, we didn't get to see her face, we didn't get to learn her name, but in the interview, she gave some statements that were inconsistent with the statements or the accusations, I should say, that are made in her lawsuit. And it does raise serious questions about the credibility of this accuser.
Attorney Tony Busby, who is also representing several other claimants against Diddy, filed the lawsuit. Jane Doe, the plaintiff, requests anonymity, a request that Jay-Z's legal team has contested by arguing that the case should be dismissed or that the accuser's identity should be revealed in order to maintain justice.
Rap and media mogul Jay-Z now accused of that 13-year-old girl in 2000 along with Sean Diddy Combs. Now, this lawsuit was originally filed back in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Diddy as the defendant, but it was just refiled today to include Jay-Z now, whose real name is Sean Carter. Of course, he's the husband of Beyonce.
This morning, disturbing new claims against music icon Jay-Z. A civil lawsuit detailing sexual assault, originally brought against his longtime friend Sean Diddy Combs, now adding new allegations against the rapper whose real name is Sean Carter, claims both men deny. The anonymous woman, who was 13 at the time, described in the lawsuit as being drugged and raped at an MTV VMAs after-party she says Combs hosted in 2000. According to the suit, she recalls accepting a drink from a waitress that made her feel woozy and lightheaded before she says she was raped by Jay-Z and then Combs in a bedroom as an unnamed female celebrity watched.
Currently facing federal charges for trafficking and racketeering, Diddy has rejected the accusations, and his legal team has characterized them as part of a string of baseless indictments against him.
Is significant for several reasons. First of all, this lawsuit was filed by Tony Busby. This is that Texas attorney who claims to represent over 100 alleged victims of Sean Combs. And he indicated in the past that he would name names. And there was reporting, particularly by TMZ, that high-profile people had reached out to him to settle claims so that they wouldn't be listed in lawsuits. They wouldn't be named in lawsuits.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock.
The lawyer contends that Diddy exploited the gullibility of these young people who were keen to establish themselves in the entertainment sector. Busby's remarks point to a problematic power dynamic where Diddy is accused of abusing his position of influence to push boundaries, obscuring the chances he provided and posing grave moral and legal concerns about his actions.
Although several of these events occurred at auditions, many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs.
Federal investigators now believe that up to 120 more victims may come forward with testimonies, setting the stage for a major expansion of the case against Diddy. The recent revelations, which span multiple decades and raise serious concerns about the vulnerability of minors and potential exploitation within the entertainment industry, are both extensive and extremely concerning. They suggest a long-running pattern of misconduct that may have gone unchecked. Allegations include that some victims were as young as 9 years old.
You should know that Some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants, medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. That's too expensive for outside counsel, is it not?
I would think it's out.
Yeah, we have some world-class, probably the world-class lawyers here. They're only getting paid $500 an hour.
Yeah.
You knew that.
Yeah.
What's your rate? Huh? What's your rate? Well, you'll find out soon enough.
Attorney Tony Busby has revealed that 25 minors have brought individual lawsuits against Did, each of whom is claiming different types of misconduct. According to Busby, these cases are not a part of a class action lawsuit, but rather distinct individual filings that highlight the unique circumstances of each victim's claims and experiences. This arrangement gives each victim a chance to provide their own account during the legal process and enables each case to be handled on its own merits.
There's new allegations against Sean P. Diddy Combs. A Texas attorney says he now represents, get this, 120 alleged victims, male and female, adults and children, whose allegations span more than 30 years. The accounts of the alleged victims have not been fully vetted, but their claims involve drug-fueled sexual assaults similar to what the feds described in their criminal indictment of the music mogul. Diddy's currently sitting in a federal jail awaiting trial on sex trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy charges. He pleaded not guilty to all charges.
Tony Busby, the accuser's lawyer, has drawn criticism for the way he handled the case. In a prior case, Jay-Z accused Busby of extortion efforts and threatened to make the claims public unless a monetary settlement was achieved. Busby has refuted these allegations, stating that he merely looked for a private mediation.
Talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred. It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer.
Is suing the Houston attorney who's representing several people in lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. The lawsuit accuses Tony Busby and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort exorbitant sums from him or else publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against him. Now, on Instagram, Busby denied the claims against him, saying that his firm won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence sexual assault survivors.
And basically saying that Jay-Z was the high-profile celebrity that was recently suing him. So Tony Busby says this in a statement regarding the Jay-Z case and his efforts to silence my clients. Mr. Carter previously denied being the one who sued me and my firm. He filed this frivolous case using a pseudonym. What he fails to say in his recent statement is my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of an alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation.
Legal experts have suggested that the lawsuit against Jay-Z may soon be dropped due to the growing contradictions in the accuser testimonies, which have called into question and proven to be untrustworthy important aspects, such the location witness reports and timeline. Since the accuser's credibility is called into doubt overall, this development may also indirectly benefit Diddy, as Jay-Z's legal team is certain that there is not enough proof to move on with the lawsuit.
I mean, it's shocking. I mean, also, you have to remember when they were coming up or in their 20s and 30s, we're all allowed to grow and to evolve and to be, better versions of ourselves, especially as we, grow up. But it is just shocking. This allegation just popped up, and he goes back to look at what I've built. This is not my character. I'm heartbroken for my family. This does not align with my moral code. We have a code of ethics, and I would never hurt a or never hurt a child. So he's denied this full-heartedly.
There are a lot of questions that people have after reading the lawsuit, hearing about the lawsuit. Sean, I've just got to fire some at you because I'm a bit confused. The filing and then the refiling, is that a normal thing? What's going on with that?
Yes and no. We have a statute that allows, when you're talking about sexual assault, you can file as a Jane Doe, or you don't have to name a person if you don't want to. Is it normal? No, but the law allows it. So, normally that does not happen. Now, one of the things that I think came out, Jay-Z's statement that flat out said, fair is fair. You're suing me, let me know who my accuser is, stop being anonymous, show your damn face, show yourself, because in America, we are allowed to face our accusers. And so you have filed a suit against me anonymously. The damage is done. Everybody is talking about my reputation. I need to now know who you are, and I think that's fair, I really do, because he should be allowed to do his research. Was this 13-year-old girl actually at the party? Was he there at the same time at the party? Where the heck were this person's parents? How can I fight these allegations if I don't know who you are?
I would not connect. I'd be loath right now to connect the P. Diddy case with Jay-Z. And for one really big reason, and then other smaller reasons. The big reason is, in the Diddy Combs case, they're arguing that he set up this entire criminal enterprise. And part of this enterprise were these freak-offs. That's not being suggested in the Jay-Z case. The Jay-Z case is suggesting, at least the accusation is, he was at this party that P. Diddy was throwing, and that there was a sexual assault that occurred, and that Jay-Z committed it. Completely different circumstances, completely different situation. Do I know if it could go there and something could happen? We don't know at this point, as you said.
What do you think of this startling update? Do you believe that Jay-Z and Diddy's case will be dropped as a result of the accuser's inconsistent claims? Post your thoughts in the comments section below.